So many recipes claim to have crispy oven-baked wings, but always seem to come up a little short. Well, I want a technique where it's damn near impossible to tell the difference between a deep-fried wing and a wing out of the oven.
Is that even possible?
Normally I'd say no, but hang on to your hats, people. I think I found the secret. Not only that, I have 2 knock your socks off sauce recipes to slather on those newly baked crispy wings. This is Kitchen Serious. Because oil conducts heat at a much higher temperature than water, when it comes in contact with anything that has moisture, the water in the food quickly evaporates and we get a crispy surface. So obviously, moisture is the enemy of crispy. We need an effective way to essentially dehydrate the skin of the wings before we cook them. To accomplish this, we're going to take a mixture of equal parts kosher salt, cornstarch, and baking powder. Yeah, you heard that right, baking powder. Under no circumstances should you substitute baking soda, so make sure it's powder.
There is no substitute.
For every pound of wings, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of each, and I've got 2 pounds of wings here. So I'll measure all this out, get it in a bowl, and give our wings a good coating. After we have them coated, we're going to put them on a rack and get them in the fridge. Now, ideally, the longer you can chill them in this coating, the more dehydrated the skin will get and, well, the crispier the result. Try to plan ahead and let them chill overnight in the fridge. Otherwise, you could do it the morning of. Whatever you decide, I'd aim for at least 3 hours before baking. If you have a cooling rack, it's perfect for something like this to maximize airflow during this process, as well as when they're in the oven. Alright, so it's been about 18 hours. As you can see, the skin looks nice and dehydrated. I'm going to throw these in a preheated oven at 300 degrees for about 15 minutes to get them to start rendering their fat, making sure they don't overcook. Now after 15, I'm going to crank the heat up to 450 to really get that skin crispy. After a few minutes even, you're going to hear that the skin will start to pop and crackle. Ovens can vary, but these went for an additional 16 to 17 minutes. And if you have a convection oven, they'll most likely be done 2 to 3 minutes sooner. Listen to this. The hardest part for most of us is prepping a day ahead, while also carving out enough room in our fridge to let them hang out. The wire rack isn't essential, but if you can get them on a plate or two and then sneak them into open spaces, that'll also work. Just be careful where you put any raw poultry. Remember to keep it below any other foods to prevent cross-contamination. Now the fun part, the sauces. I've got 2 dynamite Asian-inspired sauces for these bad boys. One is a classic peanut sauce, while the other is sweet and spicy and has kind of a similar vibe as a Korean barbecue sauce you might have on ribs. Let's knock out the peanut sauce first. We're going to start with a couple cloves of fresh crushed garlic and then add to it about a half a cup of peanut butter. This process will go a lot easier if you melt the peanut butter a little bit in the microwave first. To this, we're going to add a little sriracha, a couple tablespoons of lime juice. Of course, I forget to buy lime, so I have to resort to the bottled lime juice, which we all know is not nearly as good. Another tablespoon or so of soy. I think I actually added a little too much soy because this sauce was a little saltier than normal, so I'd keep it at a couple teaspoons. Give this a good mix, and now you can just adjust consistency with some water. You don't want it too thin, but you want it just thick enough to coat those wings nicely. Right now this is way too thick, so we're going to add some water to get it to a thick sauce-like consistency. Wings in the bowl, sauce on the wings, give them a flip, and be prepared to devour these things. Alright, for the Korean barbecue, we're going to get some butter in the pan and throw in our garlic. Since we haven't tempered our butter with any oil, we're just briefly going to cook this garlic before we add in a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. A 1/4 cup of Chinese cooking wine. This is the brand I see the most. A 1/4 cup of chicken broth. A 1/4 cup of fish sauce. and a 1/4 cup of white sugar. And if you want to add a little heat, you can throw some sriracha in there. Now we want to bring this just under a boil and let this reduce. After a few minutes, you can really start to see this thickening up. In my excitement, I did add the wings a little too early. I pulled them back out, let the sauce thicken a little bit, and we're going to try this again. Now they're perfect. Now all that's left is to grab a shit ton of napkins and have yourself some of the best crispy oven-baked wings you'll ever have. And as always, here is your shopping list. Thanks so much for checking out Kitchen Serious, guys. I'll see you next time.